This is Ndtv, and you're watching Classics.
And today's Boss's Day Out is starting bright and early with a female powerhouse who's revolutionized the way life insurance is conducted in the country. Shikha Sharma, CEO and Managing Director of ICICI Prudential Life Insurance. We're starting with Shikha Sharma as mother who's dropping her son to school early this morning. Hello Shikha.
Hi Devina.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
And
it's my son Tilak.
Hi Tilak, I'm Devna. Nice to meet you.
I guess we're going to have to run.
Yes. How often do you do this? Twice a week?
Yeah, a couple times a week. It depends on his mood actually. Sometimes he's disciplined, but because he goes for the classes and comes back late, if he gets up late in the morning, he misses his bus, and that's when I have to do it.
What classes are these?
He goes for the IIT coaching classes, so that's like the evening shift for him.
So school in the morning.
Yeah.
And IIT in the evening.
Yeah.
Where's the time for fun?
Oh, he finds plenty of it. When they were small, and the child didn't understand what was happening at that point of time, so they would just cry when I went to work, and going to work every day was a torture. But after he was 3, it was fine. And when my daughter was born, she was really not so hassle because he was at home and she had company. Along the way, I've asked them the question many, many times that would they want me to work or would they want me to sit at home? And I think ever since he was 6, he's been very clear that he'd rather have his mom go to work. I guess he gives them lots more space and independence.
And your husband, does he have long hours?
He does actually. In his case, since he runs a software business,
yes,
he runs a e-learning business actually.
So Tilak's finally made it to school. See you, have a good day. It's 7:55. Tilak just about made it to school, and after that extremely speedy ride, we're going to take a more leisurely ride back to Shikha's house in Prabha Devi. She'll take a walk in the building and then we'll follow her to office. How long do you walk for?
About 35 to 40 minutes.
And at a brisk pace or?
Not very brisk, but
brisk enough to make you feel hungry at the end of it?
Brisk enough to make me sweat, because that's what the trainer said. Basically, you need to sweat it out.
So when you do this, you're more productive at work?
I definitely think the energy levels go up. I actually think I feel even more creative.
It's 8:30 a.m. We're going to allow Shikha to enjoy her peaceful morning walk and join her again in office in an hour.
Okay, see you there.
Enjoy your
Bye.
walk.
Thanks.
5 years ago, the government of India opened up the life insurance sector to private players so that they could compete against the giant LIC. ICICI Prudential Life Insurance has not changed in its #1 ranking through the 5 years. Today, it stands with funds under management of over 6,000 crores and a 32% market share amongst private life insurers, with an 11% market share in the overall life insurance sector. It's almost 10 a.m. and I'm waiting for Shikha to drive in so that she could start her day at the office. Is this deliberately,
Kept open? Yeah, it is.
So that anyone can sort of come in?
I keep the door open, as I said, most of the day unless I'm having a meeting which is confidential.
This has become kind of the way with a lot of CEOs.
Yeah.
Door open, approachable policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus the formality that used to exist.
Because actually a lot of things have changed. As I was saying earlier, the way you manage your colleagues, the way you manage your children, it's no longer, you can't be an authority figure.
Sure.
You have to deal and earn respect through the content rather than the title.
So how are you going to start your day then?
As soon as I come in, I put on the comp, I look at the MIS, and spend about 10 minutes with my time.
What kind of growth are you expecting in your business? You'll finish your annualized premium at about 1,200 to 1,300 crores.
We should expect over that this year.
And number of employees, how many more people are you hiring?
This is a people-intensive business. We are currently running close to 7,000 employees. So not exactly in proportion to business, but the number of employees would need to grow next year as well. So I think if we look at number of new hires that we would do in a year, it would be close to 4,000 to 5,000.
What kind of attrition rates are you looking at?
Overall for the company will be just under 20%. But
Under 20%?
yeah, but we find that people in their first year the attrition level tends to be higher, closer to 30%. So obviously in settling down to the industry and the culture of the company, at that point we face a higher attrition. But once they've stayed with us, then the attrition level goes down every successive year. And people who've been with us for 3 years and doing well with us, you hardly see any attrition.
Now you have about over 6,000 crores of funds under management.
That's right.
What kind of allocation is there to equity? And how much is there to sort of long-term investments?
First of all, let me correct you. I think equity can equally be a long-term asset.
Sure.
It's not a short-term asset. It depends the mindset that you've gone in with in terms of investing the equity. So all our funds are long-term, first of all. The average duration of our policy will be 7 years at least. There are a few people who walk out of their policy within 3 years, but that will be the minority. Most people will actually hold the policy for an average, as I mentioned, of 6 to 7 years. So definitely we are talking about long-term investments across asset classes. Now, in terms of how we allocate the money to different asset classes, on the unit-linked plans, it's the customer who decides which asset class they want to be invested in based upon their risk profile and their age. But for non-linked policies, we have done a fair amount of iteration to look at volatility in the markets, and we tend to have about 65 to 70% in fixed income assets and about 35% in equities.
Well, you would say that you're one of the more risky players in the industry, and that's how you're witnessing this amount of growth.
I would completely argue that point. I think we are one of the safest players in the market. We have the highest capital base in the industry. We are very, very conservative on our accounting policies. We are very fair and reasonable on our underwriting. We tend to invest in companies with a long track record, with a proven growth story. And so we believe actually, and it's evident in the volatility of our investments, that we probably have amongst the lowest volatility asset base in the insurance industry.
So about 94% or over that even comes from unit-linked premium.
That's right.
So you're clearly moved away from the traditional endowment.
I think it's not us who's moved away. I think the market has really taken to unit-linked. The reason why I think the market has shifted so much to unit-linked is they like the transparency. They like the flexibility. So we offer both traditional products and unit-linked products. It's the customer who's chosen to move the unit-linked route.
I can see the 5-year anniversary banner everywhere.
Yeah.
How far do you think you've come in these 5 years, and what do you think some of your key learnings have been as a company?
I think we're very pleased with what's happened in the last 5 years. We believe we are now beginning to build the foundations of getting some of the basics in place, whether it be on the business model or on the various capabilities that are needed within the organization, actuarial, finance, servicing, the sales, management structure. We are currently in over 100 cities, physically present with branches, and we have access to customers across another 200 cities through our bank partnerships. So we have a fairly wide footprint of distribution. I think the opportunity over the next 5 years is equally dramatic. This is a sector which is growing at 15%. Private sector is today just over 30% of the entire sector. I'm sure the share of private sector will continue to grow over the next 5 years. Plus, there are new segments which are going to open up, whether it be pensions or health insurance. So I see a myriad of opportunity out there.
What about FDI?
FGI is a tough question. I don't think anybody has the answers. There was an intent of going from 26 to 49. It's a complex issue. We all know that there's a lot of political decision making involved over there. Again, I believe it will happen at some point, but the timing is impossible to predict.